Okay, welcome back to the stream. On this channel, we are building a game from scratch using Love2d and Lua. We are building a top-down adventure game called Tashio Tempo. And this is what it's currently looking like at the moment. Now, yesterday we were stuck trying to do some overworld map object animations. And I ended up actually programming a fix for it. Now, it wasn't what Stilkin was suggesting. I did take a look at what he suggested in the Discord, but I'll show you what I ended up doing. So what we ended up doing was a little complicated, but it is less complicated than updating every single map entity, every single frame. And let's see, I think it's here. So this is the kind of unfortunate thing. The only unfortunate thing about my solution is that we're having to, upon an init for our insert animation class, which happens every map init, we have to kind of insert all of these functions into our, what I'm calling an animatables table. So if we take a look at our map declarations here, we say what all of our tiles are. We say what all of our tile IDs are for all our maps. And then here at the end, we're cycling through all of our maps and we're assigning an empty table called animatables. Yeah, man, it is I hope you got your earbuds in, or I hope they like game dev, because this is a unique stream. We've got a concert we're going to later tonight, so I'm trying to I was going to skip today, but I ditched work early so that I can come stream a little bit. Because I was actually at work and I was actually coding the fix that I'm explaining right now, so I wanted to kind of show it off, and then we'll be at a good point for the next episodes where we don't have to be digging in this mess. But dude, your Mewtwo looks so sick. It looks really cool. So, in our map declarations, we give each of our map references a empty table called animatables. And then what we're doing is we're in our insert animation class. We're actually, and this is what I was trying to do yesterday, and it is possible. We can hold functions inside of a table. So our insert animation, our insert anim function takes in a spot, an X and a Y, and it takes in what type of animation to put in, which right now we're putting flowers in. So we're saying, hey, 2-3, you get a flower, 5-7 gets a flower. So if we take a look at our game, that is what we're gonna be able to see here. Our 2-3 right here is a flower, and then our 5-7 is a flower. And they're animating. And then if we actually walk off, we'll see, oh, and that was a little strange. If we walk off and walk back on, we see that they're still there. And they're still there because in our map declarations, in our map 1.1, we actually hard code in the flower here that's highlighted. So we give the first frame of the animation there, and then we actually, every time a new map gets initted, we're going through and we're inserting the appropriate functions into the animatables table for the appropriate map. Now, it was really tricky to do this because we can't just, ideally, I would say like, oh, all we have to do is assign the appropriate functions upon our map declarations because we know what functions need to go there, so why don't we keep all that data there? But the hard part is we need the third argument to our insert anim is a frame of an animation, and that gets updated over time. So our insert anim is an object that needs to be updated over time. So that was our whole issue. We didn't want to be reassigning every single frame over time. We only want to insert an animated frame on the appropriate map in the appropriate spot. So that's what we're doing here. It's just that our insert anim init is going to get clogged. Like, let's say each of our maps have a total of 2 animated sprites. If we have that, is our green screen all screwed up? If we have 2 animated objects for every map, that's a total of 200 assignments we would do every insert animation init. Now, I don't think that's actually that much because computers can do hundreds of things a second, and we're only doing it upon the init. We're not doing it upon the update. What's great is if we take a look at our update, we're only updating the animatables of our current map row and map column. So I'm not too worried about a potential couple hundred inits if that means we're only animating them. We're only animating, let's say, 2 animatables for this scene because there was only 2. So I'm not too worried about that. Let me see if I can fix our green screen here. What is going on with that? What's so weird is like Linux was so good with the green screen. I don't know why. It was very good. Why is it so bad? Maybe our green is just off? I mean, the other thing is it's during the day right now, so the light coming in isn't so consistent. So that might be the other thing with it. Let's see. What the heck is going on? Okay. That's looking okay? Okay. So here's what it looks like if we want to insert an animation. So first of all, when we declare our map, we have to give it the first frame of the animation, which in this case is hard-coded as a flower. So we'd have to do that. That's the first step. That makes sure that when we transition into the screen that it's actually rendering the correct first animation. Then the second thing we have to do is go into our insert animation function. And what we're gonna do is we have to make sure that the animatable gets an anim spitter, which takes in a range and a rate. And then we have to actually insert the function. So this is how we insert a function. We say function with the parentheses, then the function itself, and then end. And that allows us to store the function itself into the animatable table. Because if we left out that function portion, it would just be storing the insert anim object, which is the output of the function, but not the function itself. So like this function and the call to this function will be literally stored in the animatables table. And one other thing I found out that was interesting is I used to think table.insert would insert things to the beginning of the table, like insert, in computer science, but it actually just appends it. You can insert it at the first location if you do a second argument of 1, a lot like how table.remove takes in a list and an index of which to remove. But this can take the list and then the and then the index you want to place it in, and then the thing you want to place. So I found that pretty interesting. But then what's great is we go ahead and our insert animation class has an animatables table, okay? And that's how we're deciding how many animatables to actually insert. So we go through our current map row and its animatables, and we put each one of those animatables into our current table. We just copy over those animatables so that we can do something a self-animatables amount of time. And I guess we could do this. I guess we really could do this just at what we're doing here, which is a percent map or a hashtag map. So I think this could actually work. Yeah, you know what? Why don't we try this? We could get rid of one extra table that we might not need. So what I'm going to do is just take this. Now this is going to be the amount of animatables that are in our current map. Oh, no, we can't really do this. Okay, yeah. We can't take this out because once we insert the animatables in here. Oh yeah, and then I guess it would have the number of it. So let's see if we can get rid of this self.animatables. Let's see if we can get rid of that self.animatables and just do it based on the number of animatables in our map, which we have inserted at the init part. So that actually should work. So we should be able to say, for the number of animatables in our map object, we're going to go ahead and update each one. And this is actually an interesting part too. So we're taking our global map table, we're indexing into the row and column, into the .animatables table at the index of whichever animatable it is. So like this for loop is going to go through each one, and then we have parentheses here, which just tells it to run it as a function, because we actually store a function inside the index of each animatable. So if we go at a certain index, you know, animatables at index 1 is this first function we inserted, and animatables index 2 is the second one, and so forth. So I'm thinking now that we've got that, I'm thinking if we take this line out, we actually don't need our insert animation animatables object anymore. I think that's right. So we should be able to get rid of our animatables table here. Let's see if we crash or if we're good. So we're rendering those two, which is good. We're rendering these two, and they animate. Okay, so here I'll walk through the process of what it's like to add an animated object. So let's go through, do it quickly here. We'll go map declarations. We'll go, how about let's add a flower to right beneath us. So that will be 2-1. Now we're gonna put a flower right here at 2-2. So we put in the first frame of the flower right there. And what that does is when we go down, we'll have the first frame of the flower right there, but it's not animating. So how do we do that? We go to our insert animation class. We've got a flower drawable, so we've got the frame that it is, but we need to insert the actual insert animation function into the animated tables. Animatables is what it's called. So we'll table.insert at our map, and it's a 2-1. And we're inserting into the animatables currently empty table. And what we're going to insert is a function itself. And the function itself is the insert anim, and we're going to insert the flower at 2-2. So we say 2-2 and then self.flowers. Self.flowers is the animated object, but self.flowers.frame is the actual frame of the flower that is getting updated over time. Then we need an end because that tells it that's the end of the function that we're inserting. Then the rest of this takes care of itself. So once we get to the next map, we'll become a map self row of 2-1, which is 1 below from our starting point. And then we go ahead and update every animatables object. We actually run every animatables function in our animatables table. So let's see if that works. If we go down, we should have a flower there, and then the flower does in fact update. So there's our big update that we have been spending 2 days working on, and I did it at work today. So we've got that. Now I do want to change this. Like this sprite in particular is legit ripped off from Link's Awakening. So I will change this to I want to change it to like a sakura blossom, for like Japanese stuff. So we'll go ahead and change those, and then we'll see where we're at. So let's go ahead and you know what? I don't want to add this flower just yet. I was just kind of showing the process, but it's pretty easy. The only kind of downside is that I'm thinking if we have like a whole map full of bubbling lava or something, we would need to add a bunch of animatables, and then this init function will kind of swell up. Now I did a lot of thinking, and I don't know how to kind of decouple the function insert into our animatables table, because the function of the insert anim literally needs to spit out an updated value, so that needs to get updated over time. But we only want to update certain things over time, so it's really difficult for me to kind of wrap my head around how to do that in an efficient way. So this, only doing it in the init and not in the update, seems to make more sense to me. So that's what we're doing, at least for now. So let's go ahead, open a sprite, and we'll get to updating our Sakura Blossom here. So we're going to want a pink color and a red color, and we're going to open, and this is our master sheet we're opening here. So all of our tiles are from one massive tile sheet. So we'll put our flowers, we'll put our new flowers at the same exact location as our old, and then we won't have to do anything other than save the file. So we'll save the file, and then our flowers will be automatically updated. So what I do want to do is just get the flower. So it's like, I love the animated flowers go, they start, let's see here. We need to leave room for the, so if we look at how it kind of animates, it kind of goes, it has like a down pedal and an up pedal. So if we have our, I think that looks right. We want, oh, okay, so it kind of floats up and then floats back down. So this is the kind of floating up, and then you'll see that it's, yeah, 1 pixel away from the left side, then it floats down. Now there's only so many combinations of pixels you can do to make this look different than the original. So we might take this, and these will be the opposites, because like one flower is going up and one flower is going down at the same time. So we'll just kind of, yeah, I guess we just have to, so it looks like, yeah, and then the shading is different for the opposite pixels. This will be a starting point, and then we'll reshape these flowers as we see fit here. But we're just trying to get the shape kind of similar here. Now, when it's down, this needs to be 1 pixel down. Now, okay, 1 pixel. Okay, yeah, this is, it's hard to align these things, but I think that's right. Yeah, so what I'll do is I will export this, actually I will save this as a master sheet atlas and replace it. And then if we run our game, it should auto update. So we should just be able to go leader M, and we're playing our game with the updated sprites. So yeah, I think that's good placement. It's just that, no, we messed it up. It's like, it has to kind of, okay. So as it animates, the dark square in the middle doesn't move. So we need to make sure that's consistent. It feels so weird to stream when the sun's out. It feels really weird. So this one is good, and then this one is wrong. This one needs to go down one. So it's like down, up, up. Okay, so then I think this one needs to go. This one needs to match the left one in terms of the dark square height. Okay, I think that's right. So if we save this one, export, save as a master sheet PNG, then we run it, we should see. Yep, that's looking good. Cool. So now we will turn it into our Sakura blossoms, which are going to be a different color. Now we don't have a pink in our palette, so we'll have to add it. I know there's a way to import a palette here. Load default palette. There we go. Oh, you know what? We do have a pink and a red. Let's see what those look like. So let's see. That's more of a purple than a pink, but we'll see what purple flowers look like and if we like it. Okay, and then a dark red in the middle. And then we will add in our green for the grass. And then we might shape this a little better too. So this should be good to just paint bucket all. Cool. So we've got these little pink flowers. They don't look very Sakura to me. So I do feel like we want a lighter pink. We want like a faded kind of white-ish, pinky purple. Something like that. And we'll make sure to add this to the palette if we like it. I mean, it will be saved in these flowers, so we can always pull it. Those don't really give me Sakura vibes though, so maybe we add in white into the center. It's looking cute, but it's not giving me the Sakura vibes. So maybe we add in Is that too much? That looks just like a checkerboard. I don't know if it looks like a flower like that. Maybe pure white in the middle. Actually, yeah, that is kind of cute. Oh, that is kind of cute. I like that. So we'll see how this looks. We do like a lightish pink. Now we're totally ruining our palette. I was initially planning on staying with Link's Awakening palette, but if we don't have a pink like this, and I want our game to ultimately feel and look different than Link's Awakening, I think it's totally okay to make our own palette. We might go back and refine this, but for right now, I'm kind of just like doing what feels right, and then if we want to change it, we always can. And then I think I want to shape the flower. Yeah, it does look kind of, I don't know, it looks kind of, let's see how black looks like in the total center. Not as cute as the white. Kind of curious how it looks like if we kind of shape the flower just like this. Looks too much like a diamond, huh? I'm kind of curious what it will look like. let's see what this looks like animated, and then we'll see if we want to continue with a unique kind of shape like this. I think it's kind of interesting. Like, I like that it's gonna be totally different than the flowers of Link's Awakening, so. Yeah, and then it still has some shape here, so we'll see if that shape totally throws it off, if the diamond shape in the middle there totally throws it off or not. But let's see, save as master sheet, overwrite it, and then we should be able to just run our game and see the new sprites. Okay, yeah, it's too much of a diagonal. It doesn't have much cohesion to the shape before it. Actually, it is pretty. Like, it looks like it opens up to blossom, but then it looks weird. It doesn't scream flower like the first ones do, so. Let's go ahead and see what our new color scheme looks like on the square flowers here. So we'll go ahead and we'll save as, master sheet, replace, then we run our program here. Oh, those are cute. I like them. And then it'll change it for every flower that's there, you know, so. I'm kind of thinking maybe that lighter pink that we've got can be the outside of our squares to give it a little kind of fade almost. Because this is a slightly lighter color, so I'm thinking we kind of outline like this. It's pretty readable as flowers, I think, so pretty happy with that. This might be overkill doing the different color pink, but I think it might add a bit of texture. And we can always change it, so it's not a big deal. Feels so good to have got the animated stuff figured out. It might not be the final version we do, but I tried a lot of different things in my mind about how to pull it off, and I couldn't quite get it more succinct than what I ended up doing. Okay, I think I like that. Yeah, and it might. I'm kind of thinking we might. I don't know if I want to decouple the two. So, like, maybe we just have I guess it's different because we don't want too many. I was thinking to decouple the two so we can kind of place a flower in random spots and have it look like it's not just one sprite that's going over, but I guess let me see how like a chunk of four flowers would look like, and then if that looks okay, then they're in a decent place, you know. So we'll go and actually, yeah, I think it'll be nice if we add in some grass like Link did, some grass kind of shapes here. Gosh, it's so flippin' hard to make grass look good in pixel art. Gosh. Really tough. Really tough. You would think it really wouldn't be that hard to make it look like a little piece of grass, but it's like very, very hard. Okay, that's looking good. It's so tough. So freaking tough. Okay. I think I'm liking this. They really were masters. Really, really were masters in art to make these look so damn good on 16 by 16, because ours looks like crap. Theirs looks perfect. Okay, we're not going to spend much more time on this. We're just going to go ahead and call it good. What just happened there? What? Okay, all I want to do is scoot this over by 1. Without... Okay. Yep, that's all I want to do is scoot this over by 1, and then we'll copy and paste it for the other... So we're using the same kind of grass shapes for our other frames here. So it looks consistent. It's amazing how 2 pixels will change how it looks completely. Okay, I think I like this. I like these shapes for our grass. So we will go ahead and copy this same one, because like those should be static on the frames, so we just need to make sure we give it the appropriate spacing, and then we should be good here, and then we'll have our very own Sakura blossoms. So this is actually, we want it to be not touching the edge, so we'll pull it in right there. Perfect. I think that's right. So if we go ahead and save this as our master sheet, then load our game, we should have our updated Sakura Blossom petals. Beautiful. Oh, we messed up the third frame, or one of the, oh god. Okay, so 2 of them are higher. Okay. That's weird. We messed up the different frames on different ones, so I can see which ones are messed up clearly just right now by looking at them. So we'll just make sure that we've got these in the correct heights. It's looking good though. Then these 2 also need to be, this one needs to be down. Okay. That should be it. Save as. Perfect. Oh, we cut off some of the bottom here. We cut off some of the bottom of this one. Yeah, we clearly cut this off. Okay, that should be it now. Knocker, do you have any plans for bosses? I'm reading the book now, so no spoilers. Okay, well, so big updates here. We're no longer doing a Name of the Wind game because I want to actually release this thing, and it's going to take me years. So I figure, you know, if I want a game to come out sooner than 3 years from now, or in not 6 years from now, I need to make this game the game that's going to come out. So we're doing a totally different thing than Name of the Wind now. But as far as bosses go, I don't have too many ideas on any big bosses. There probably will be a boss fight in every biome. So the current thing I'm thinking of, well, the thing is, still read Name of the Wind. Read Name of the Wind, because that's worth reading. It's just that, I mean, look at our guy now. We're a little Japanese guy named Tashio now. We still got red hair and we still do magic, so it's basically Name of the Wind. So, but what we're going to be doing is, so music is going to be a big part of this game, a lot like Name of the Wind music is a big part of it in Name of the Wind. So, exactly, he's got the man bun, which was very tough. We worked a lot on that to get that looking right, because with 16 pixels to work with, it's hard to get that man bun looking right while still maintaining a not square head. So it was actually very tough to get that looking okay. But music is a big part of this game, and my kind of overall scope for this is going to be like, there's different biomes, right? There's desert, there's forest, there's ice mountains, there's water, who knows? But there's different biomes, and you're kind of locked out of certain biomes due to the status of weather. So like, you can't go into the desert because there's a desert storm. You can't go into the rainforest because there's a rainstorm. You can't go into whatever, the water, because the waves are too crazy or whatever. So like, that's how we kind of like control the flow of the game. A lot like in Link's Awakening, you can only access the dungeons in a certain order, right? Like, you get the dungeon key, so you got to go get the whatever dungeon key, and then at the end of the dungeon, you unlock like the next piece that gets you the next dungeon key. So it's going to be kind of like that. So it's like, you can explore up to a point, but then you'll run into the desert, where the desert might have just too much stuff flying around. You can't quite get there. So the idea is, there's a sort of overworld status of peace and balance for the overworld. So as you start to clear the dungeons or the biomes, you slowly restore that balance of the world. So there's a couple of things that means, which is like, yeah, exactly. You gotta unlock the wormy to traverse the desert. The way we kind of bring balance to the world, in my idea, is that, like, let's say the forest is unlocked from the get-go. Like, you can go all the way through there because that's the first one. So you can go, if you go to the forest and you clear the puzzles and you defeat the enemies, you end up finding this ancient tome. And what that is like, it's really just sheet music. So like you have a lute in this game, and the idea is you're gonna find the ancient tablature at the end of the forest or whatever. And if you go to, you know, the stage of the forest and you play the lute song, and it's literally like Lute Hero. So like Guitar Hero, where you have to finger the right frets and strum the right strings. And if you follow the tablature and you play the Song of the Forest, it'll restore a certain amount of balance to the overworld. So like it'll start calming things down, and then the ecosystem will balance out, and then you'll be able to unlock the other biomes. So I guess the idea is like, I don't know if like the tablatures, like what you find in the forest is like a riddle, and you won't know that the tab you found in the forest is actually the music you have to play to calm the desert, but you have to go and play the different songs or figure out the riddle to know that, oh, this is the one for the desert. So we go there, we play Lute Hero, and we actually calm the desert storm, and that unlocks the next dungeon for our biome. So that's the kind of idea. Now, as far as the bosses go, I don't have too many ideas on big bosses, because one of the things about this game is thematically, it is about balance and peace. So like, it doesn't bode well to go around murdering every monster we see, and actually we don't actually end up murdering anything. My current idea for it is that there's these monsters. So like, if you take a look, I don't know if you've seen this, but we've got geckos in the game now. So like, I've instantiated a bunch of geckos that run. They look exactly like Jimmy, but we've got a bunch of those geckos. And the idea is the monsters that we fight are actually corrupted animals from the forest. So instead of unaliving them with our magic, what we actually do is cleanse them of their corruption. So like, it would be like a dark kind of goopy, like, think of Muck from Pokemon. Think of like a muck covered gecko who spits poison or venom or whatever at you. And then our fire isn't like fire, it's like a purple cleansing fire. So we use the fire on the enemies, and it'll cleanse them of their Grimer muck stuff. And instead of killing our enemies, we end up just ridding them of their corruption. And then they'll run away like this. Like, once we cleanse them, they'll no longer attack us, and they'll turn into little animals like that and run away. So the game isn't about killing people, but it's about like helping restore balance in the ecosystem and stuff like that. So in terms of bosses, I don't really have many ideas for stuff like that. Like I think what you're trying to get at is like, what is going to be like the final boss of an ecosystem before we get the tablature, the ancient tablature, right? And I'm not sure what that is just yet. It might be a little bit of a puzzle, and it might be like my original idea for this kind of game was like, my original idea for this kind of ecosystem-based game was to think about it in a sense that if you walk into a forest, there's these bees that'll attack you, and they'll hurt you. But the answer isn't to kill the bees. The answer is to like lure them away with honey, or give them something they want, so that it's a beneficial relationship. So we're not trying to kill them, we're trying to aid them so that they can get out of our way and we can continue our business. So that's the kind of spirit of the game that's going to be going on, and I'm not sure what that means for the bosses, but it'll be some kind of combination of puzzles and certain magic stuff. So it's like, you know, maybe you can get to the end of the forest biome, but you can't actually cleanse the monster unless you have the appropriate element to run your magic to actually kill him. So like, even though you can get to him, you have to actually go into the desert and unlock a couple elements that allow you to cast certain spells that are the weakness of said boss or whatever to actually cleanse him, because fire is only the kind of default element for us to be spellcasting with, but that probably means fire isn't going to be the answer to any one boss. But that's the kind of idea. And then we've also got Pokemon on screen here. So I think you're a little Kabuto. If you, Austin knows this better than me, but there's like an extension for stream avatars on Twitch. And it works on mobile too. But you can save up gold and you can buy avatars. So what I can do here is I can say exclamation currency, and I can add 20 gold. Let's add 30 gold. We'll add everyone 30 gold here. So everyone got at least 30 gold, and it costs 30 gold to get a third evolution, as long as it's not a, you know, legendary or whatever. So like, all you have to do is do, I think it's buy space avatars, and then whatever Pokemon you want. And then you'll unlock, if you do it like that, buy avatars space whatever the Pokemon name is, you can change your little avatar there if you don't want Kabuto. Or if you want Kabuto, you're good. But yeah, so those are some bigger level ideas for the game. And we're actually about to get started on some more substantial stuff. Now that we've got our animation working, we've got our dude. And me too. I'm learning this stuff too. I didn't even know any of this stuff existed. Like, I just got a Discord for the first time like yesterday. So, but I'll show you why you should get a Pokemon, because Fart Knocker, you're gonna love this. You could do fart, you could do dance, you could do, I can go and hug aka Bob, and then you can jump, you can do, and then every once in a while a little star will spawn and you guys can go get that for extra gold. So it's a fun way to kind of add some interactivity to the stream, and then also like a little way to be like, hey, if you come back to the game, you come back, like Austin bought his legendary Mewtwo yesterday for like 250 gold, so now he's got Mewtwo, and then it remembers that, it remembers how much gold you have. I can add other stuff, so like once we hit affiliate here, I can add channel point redeems, and I can redeem, say like, once you get 1,000 channel points, and just like gold redeems as you're watching the streams. So you'll get, I think you get 1 gold every 2 minutes or something. So you'll get 20 gold every 10 minutes, or I don't know what exactly it is, but channel points are the same way. Like once you watch the stream, you get channel points, and you can redeem those for certain things on stream that I approve. So I can say like, hey, for 1,000 channel points, you can unlock a shiny variant of whatever Pokemon avatar you want. And then I'll go and I can make that little shiny variant in my system here. And then if you redeem it with channel points, I can add it to be able to be bought from the store, and then they can actually have it. So like, that's one idea of something we can do with channel points, but I am looking for more ideas as well to do more stuff like that. I don't exactly know yet, but we'll worry about that when we hit affiliate, because we're 9 followers away. Okay, so I do want to change our bricks, and then I might have to call it a night, because we got to go head out to our concert tonight. So yeah, I do I want to actually make our flowers this darker green here. Or our grass, rather. Because that's the grass color of our other grass in our main grass sprites. Okay, so we'll go save as, master sheet, and we'll go ahead and delete these old flowers. And then I want to change these bricks because we ripped these bricks off from Link's Awakening. I mean, we've swapped them and flipped them, but I don't want to be reusing the assets of the game just because we're going to be publishing the game, and we don't want to be stealing anybody's art. We did change the colors and flip it though, but it's not good enough. So I think what we'll do here, we'll actually design these in a new 16 by 16 because that way we can actually boost up our tiled mode and then we can animate it easier. So like if we have this like this, we can go view a tiled mode, tile in both axes. Okay, so that gives us what it looks like when it's tiled, which is essential. So we know we need it diagonal. Now I want a brown tile and a red tile at least, and then maybe a blue tile. So we'll see. We'll load our palette here. Yeah, like it took me over 2 years to make Joust. And I was thinking, it's like, you know, it's gonna take me longer to make this game because it's bigger, obviously. And I want to be able to release my own game at some point. And if this game takes me 3 years, then the next game's probably going to take me 3 years. So that means by the time I'm almost 40, I'll be releasing my first game, and that just doesn't feel right. So this is going to be our first game we're releasing, and we're shooting for a 3-year release. I'm hoping in under 3 years we can release our first game, which sounds like a ton of time, but I spent almost daily effort making Joust, and it took me 2 freaking years. I mean, granted, I've got 2 years of experience under my belt now because of that, but it's no easy feat. So I think we're gonna commit to it. Exactly, yeah. So, and if you start game programming right now, you know, depending on the scale of game, it just takes for freaking ever. Like I've been programming maybe 4 or 5 years now, and it just takes me for freaking ever. The learning curve is just steep as hell. I swear we loaded the default palette and I don't see it. Is that our palette or no? We'll have to figure that out, but let's do a brown tile. So. I know, dude. Yeah. Yeah. And what's crazy is like there are tutorials on how to do game stuff, but there's like at a certain point the stuff you're inventing, there's no tutorial for. You just have to understand these concepts and then test and try to come up with something. So here, we need a line tool so that we can draw a perfect line. I need need to know what is exactly... Oh, this is already looking like a wood kind of board here. Like a plank. So this will be... Yeah, if this is our bricks... Our wood bricks, we can do something like this. This isn't looking bad. Exactly, aka Bob, that's the spirit. I think it's attack, but is it working? Yeah. Yeah, there we go. Oh, get that star, get that star. Yeah, I've been really loving streaming. It's been really fun. It is nerve-wracking because I don't know what I'm doing on the streaming front or the game dev front. But it has been so much fun and the community has been so nice. These bricks are looking pretty good. I want kind of like a highlight. We'll see. This might be too much of a highlight. Oh, actually, this kind of looks good. Is it too much? Is that white too much of a highlight? I don't know. It kind of gives it that 3D kind of texture. If only, if only. You guys, is that highlight too bright for bricks? Is it too shiny? It should be like a little bit darker. I think it's just because it's pure white, it just looks too weird. Let's see what this kind of... Yeah, that looks better. Yeah, I like that. Looks like bricks, right? Maybe just one less, like four pixels of highlight might be too much. But Aseprite is really bomb for stuff like this, because it's like... just like you guys are looking at the power of it right now, where we can just tile it like that. And then what's great is all we have to do is pull out our 16 by 16 here, which, okay, it's only, oh god, yep, we'll just have to turn off our tile mode, and then that's our brick. So like I wouldn't have drawn it like this without this tiling method. Like I wouldn't have put this like this, but it looks fine once it's looped. So we'll go ahead and take that and we'll overwrite our blue bricks, and then we'll give ourselves a dark red brick and a, I don't know, I guess in terms of color theme, I think if we have like a dark green and a dark blue, maybe that looks okay. Or a dark red. Yeah, let's do a dark red instead of a brown, and then a dark blue. We'll do that. So what we'll do here is, now that we've got this kind of template, we can just give ourselves a dark blue brick. And then we have to match the shading, which a line tool would be better for. Yeah, this is feeling better. It feels better now that we made the bricks instead of just ripped off Link, so. And actually, I kind of like the same highlight color. I kind of like that dingy kind of glisten. It's not a blue highlight, but it's like an orange. I guess we'll see. We'll take a peek at see what a bluer type of highlight looks like. So if it is just brighter like this, just less saturated, and we'll see. Yeah, we'll go with the color appropriate highlights. We can always switch it, but I think that looks good. Now we can tile this on. We can go see what it looks like untiled. See, that looks pretty good. I like that a lot. I can't imagine, like, dude, trying to do this in assembly for a Game Boy is just mind-blowing. Like, they wouldn't have been able... They must have literally used, like, graph paper to do this crap, because I remember I saw, like, a documentary on the dude who invented Space Invaders, and he had it all mapped out on graph paper and all his little art sketches and ideas, concept art. Like, that was so cool. Okay, now we've got... I like this a lot. Now that we're getting more of our own colors in here, it's looking interesting. Now let's do a dark red. That might not be dark red enough, but that's the color in our palette. Yesterday was maybe my least favorite stream, just because I just didn't get anything done. After 2 hours, our git commit was like one failed function that I ended up gutting. So, like, that was kind of sad. Okay, let's see how this highlight looks when we... That looks good. That looks good. You know, I'm happy with that, so we'll just keep it. Okay, so we've got our new tiles in here. We've got our custom tiles, and actually, I drew this without even referencing the map here, but how'd you get a tiny human if you don't know how to flirt? Okay, I thought you were talking to me. I was confused there. I get it. I get it. Yeah, I like the red and blue. We'll have to change the names, because right now our blue brick is actually brown brick, our red brick's actually blue brick, and our green brick's actually red brick. So by the time we save this as our master sheet, we need to go replace these values. As long as we like them, let's go see where we're drawing our bricks and see how they look. Oh yeah, look at that. That brick looks awesome. That brick looks great. We should have another, yeah, we got a whole, wow, I love that brown brick. That looks great. That looks really good. And then the blue brick is interesting too. And then we've got red brick. That's cool. I love those. Those came out wonderful. That's awesome. Yeah, the one thing, I'm thinking our brown brick might just have a teensy bit too much highlight. It's just a little too distracting. They look a little bit too glisteny to me. I want it to be a little more dingy. So we'll just darken it up just a tiny bit, and then we'll call it good on those. And we'll just make sure they're named appropriately so that when we generate a whole space of them, that they're actually, we can call it brown brick and we get brown brick instead of blue brick. So we'll make sure we do that. So we just want something, we want to start with this color and we want to brighten it up, but not too much. So maybe like something like this. Let's see if that's, yeah, that's like a whole 2 or 3 shades darker there. That looks good though. It matches the other ones. It should be a little bit brighter actually. Yeah. That looks good. And then at some point we might rehaul it and like really go for like a 32 color palette or something and really try to hone in the colors better. I'll go ahead and delete our reference bricks. Then we will save as a master sheet PNG. Okay, so now let's just make sure. Oh, I shouldn't have deleted those before we... I'm gonna keep these up as a reference so that we can rename them here. we'll just make sure that we go to our constants, and we'll go actually find our bricks. Brick. Okay, there we go. So 16, 17, and 18. This is actually brick brown, brick blue, and brick red. But we have to also change any reference of these in our map declarations. So we'll search for all brick blues, and we will actually, the way to do this is to highlight everything, and then we'll substitute every brick blue with a brick brown. Brick underscore brown, and we'll do that for everything in the line. And then we've got to do the same thing for our other. We will substitute every red brick, and it's actually brick underscore red, and we will substitute that with blue brick underscore blue, do it globally, and then we'll go ahead and do the last one, which is a substitute of our brick green, and we're going to replace it with a brick red, and then we should have them all labeled correctly. So we'll see. We've got our brown brick. So like one idea for the type of, hey Fox Hollow, hey, thanks for the chat. I have watched your stream a couple times. It's cool to see you here. We just added some new tiles. So we just made these brick tiles for our game here. And I was about to explain some stuff. We're going to be doing. Yeah, you're welcome, man. So yesterday we've got the collision detection for map objects like this tree here. So we're no longer able to walk over a tree, and that includes any time there's a tree on screen. We kind of assigned a collidable based on the tile ID of a collidable object. So like in our master sheet, we know that our tree tiles are collidable objects. So anytime we draw tree tiles on any frame, our character will not be able to collide with it. So, well, yeah, it'll be able to, it prevents walking over it. So we got that, and then we shifted our hitbox a bit so we can kind of walk in front of the tree a bit like that because of the top-down perspective. And then we're just working on, I'm actually going to end stream here probably real soon because I've got a concert to go to tonight, but I'm glad I was able to stream today. We've got our new flower sprites working, and we've got our new bricks that we just made. So those are looking good. Now we don't have an animated flower on this frame, but if we wanted to do that, this is how we currently have to do it. We'd have to go into our insert animation. We'd go, we have to insert a function into our map at the appropriate table. So that's a 2-1 in that space. And we go into its animatables table. And we insert a function. And the function we insert is an insert anim, and that takes a location. I think it was a 2-2, X and Y on that tile, and we give it an actual frame of our animation object here, which our flower frame is what we want to plug in there. And then all we have to do, our function will run automatically here in our update because we're only running the updates. We're only running those functions if they're in our .animatable table for our current map and row. So let's see if that works. Nope. Bad argument 1. This needs an S here. Then we'll see. So hopefully we've got an animated flower right here now, which we do. So it's not so pretty how we had to do that, but it is better than, in my opinion, it's better than reassigning every tile ID with the updated tile, because instead we're updating the frame of our flower animation, every frame, but we're only inserting, like every other tile that isn't animated, we only ever insert once into our map declarations. So we don't have to overwrite any of that stuff because that stuff isn't changing. But anything that isn't animatable, we have to update its frame every second so that we know which frame it needs to render the animation. So we've luckily figured that out. Yesterday was a little bit of a slow day because we were stuck on figuring out how to implement that. But we're in a really good spot right now. This is feeling really good. You know, we'll be working on, I guess, what's next? What's the big next thing? We've got, maybe it would be nice to add some more collidable map objects like a fence or a tree stump, just to kind of be able to decorate our world a little bit more. So maybe a couple more collidable map objects would be nice. And then I think we can start working on picking up items. So like, we're going to be able to, in order to cast a spell, you need to be holding an element. So we'll probably give ourselves different game objects for us to pick up. And if you are holding a torch and you cast your Manus and your focus lands in a casting range, then you'll be able to use that object's vibrancy to cast a spell around you of the appropriate element. So we'll probably have to do that. We'll have to do some collision detection for game objects, and then be able to pick up and maybe have an inventory of different items. I don't know how that's going to look just yet, but that is coming up next. So it's like, yeah, I think in terms of, I always try to think about what gives us a big bang for our buck in terms of how fast we can try to get this developed. So like, I think picking up overworld objects is a good next one. So that we would have objects that can be picked up and moved and placed and then ultimately used to cast spells with, because that's kind of the whole game, is like getting different elements to cast different types of spells for different effects. So we do also want to add like a pushing animation here, so he doesn't just walk into the tree, but he kind of pushes up against an immovable object. So there's that, and then I guess that's good for now. I mean, that's a lot of work, so we've got our work cut out for us. I'll go do, we did this, we added new bricks, we got this. 97 through 224 is just the range of our tile IDs that are all our collidable map objects. And then, yeah, we didn't do that. Add pushing sprites. Okay, so here we go. We need to do, we need to ultimately add map objects, or overworld game objects is what I want to call it. Game objects to pick up. And then that might require an animation state change for our character, because his hand would be up holding the thing he's holding instead of his little fists that they currently are. So it might be new holding item animation state for player at least. And then we do have our entity system working because we've got our geckos here, but we ultimately need to add enemies at some point, right? So our entities will be have an AI of some sort that will walk towards us and attack us. That'll probably be after we get our casting working. So once we get our holding animation, we can hold an item to cast, then we can work on our actual like casting spell sprites, and then we can work on our enemies, and then we can work on our collision detection to actually damage them, and then all of that good stuff. So there's a ton of stuff we got to do, obviously. But I think it's been about 5 weeks or so it's been about 5 weeks, I think, of development on the game, and we've got 100 maps we can walk to. I mean, granted, most of them are just dirt right now, but we've got 100 maps we can walk to. We've got the little animations for it. We have a way to tell what sprites are in every single map location. So that's really powerful. So that's what I'm talking about in terms of like bang for our buck. It was so cool that we did that, because now we have access to 100 levels we can go start building some level design in. And then obviously we need more sprites for our overworld, because right now we've only got this many, which is hardly built out at all, but we have plenty of room for all kinds of stuff, so it should be really fun. Let's go ahead and make our git commit, and then I gotta duck out because I've got a concert to go to tonight. I'm seeing Gregory Alan Isakov, so that should be real fun. Let's go ahead and check out our git diff. Those are just notes. Yeah, so we just changed a couple of sprites that were spawning. We renamed our bricks because we have different colors now. And then let me take a look at what this is. Okay, we got rid of our animatables object in our insert animation function because we actually didn't need it, so that was nice. And then we're actually inserting an animatable into the frame below us, and we added and changed our flowers to be these little sakura petals. So we'll go ahead and add, I guess it'll be called new flower animations. Cool. And then yeah, we'll call it a day. I think I will raid JD Does Dev here because it's always fun to raid. But thanks for watching, guys. I will be back tomorrow. I'm glad I was able to stream today, so that was really nice. Thanks for watching, and we'll keep chugging along. I'm gonna try to program as much as I can here on a daily basis, and we hopefully can get this game out in a couple years' time. But thanks for watching. I'll catch you guys later.